Lisa asks, who has been your favorite artist to work with and why?
Oh, I have to say, I can't say one person. I gotta say there's three people that I have to say. Well, me and Jay have like the greatest relationship, so every time we work, it's always fun. No matter what we're doing, music or just shows or whatever, we have a phenomenal relationship. So I love working with Jay. In the studio, the greatest experience I had was with Alicia Keys. She made it so comfortable for me to be there. Just, I was a little intimidated and overwhelmed, and she just made me feel right at home. And we came up with a great song, which is Unthinkable, the song that's out right now. And Wayne is my favorite person to work with, though, because it's just, little Wayne, he's just too good.
You got to give Wayne the love.
He's just too good.
Drake,
it's just
thank
too good.
you so much.
Thank you.
Viewers, thank you for all of your great questions. Drake.
Whoa, welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. You guys know I have to get in on this one. LeBron James being a Zest Fest. That's right, folks. We've talked about this before. A lot of people thought I was joking, and well, not joking, but kind of like picking on him, right? And we can say that the LeBron era really pushed the Zest Fest front and center, right? We can really say it was the LeBron era that pushed the Zest Fest wide open. We talk about guys like Dwayne Wade, and remember, these are all LeBron James buddies, right? All these guys have committed to being Zest Fest. These guys have perpetrated being Zest Fest. These guys have advertised being Zest Fest. These guys are Zest Fest. Anthony Davis, I know we don't have too much on Anthony Davis, but come on, man. Come on, man. Anthony Davis is a Zest Fest. You can tell by his gestures. You can tell by his demeanor, all these things. The guy is a Zest Fest. And we'll talk about these fake, fixed, arranged marriages and, all this nonsense that the public actually believes. Who else we got? We got Russell Westbrook in the house. Zest Fest to the max. Who else we got? Dwight Howard, Zest Fest to the max, right? And then we got Chris Bosh, Zest Fest to the max. And frankly, you could never tell by the way these guys started out. These guys started out strong. These guys showed all kind of manly energy. Something just changed, man. I don't know what year. It just, you can look at these guys like Dwight Howard. This guy, when he was with Orlando, you wouldn't even think that he was a Zest Fest. Totally different look, face, just strong. You go on down the line, Dwayne Wade, who would ever thought, man? And you would never thought this with Russell Westbrook when it came to these guys. Just look so different, and I guess we can say Kevin Durant's a Zest Fest too. He's dating Brittany Griner, an undercover dude. So these guys all hang out and kick it together. It's just no coincidence, right? You're LeBron James, your ADs, Russell Westbrook, Dwight Howard, all these type of guys are buddy with each other. The Chris Bosh, the Dwayne Wade, all these type of guys. And I think Chris Paul is a Zest Fest too. I won't really go into it because a lot of people are going to get mad. And look, before we go even further, let me say this. I had just made that video about Shaq being the most, what was the title? Most overrated dominant player of all time. And I got more pushback and more hate from that video than I do on LeBron James videos. And I know we all love Shaq. Shaq is funny. Shaq is harmless at times. And come on, man. Shaq, he's overrated as far as the most dominant player of all time. He just is. He's not an overrated player. No doubt. That would be the dumbest thing to say, that Shaq is overrated. No, he's not. Now, where you want to rank him at, I don't know. You might be overrating his career. You know what I'm saying? See, there's a difference between a player in his career. How good a player was on the court, as a basketball player versus his career. Now, for me to rank players, I put both of those together. And a lot of people get mad because I got Wilt second. And it's just the fact that Wilt was so dominant as an individual player. Okay, take for example, right? If LeBron James would not have went to Miami, never, and he never would have built no super teams, LeBron James would have been known as a dominant player. Probably, maybe could have scored like 3-4 scoring titles, something like that. Maybe he would have won one championship, or maybe 2, or maybe none. But he would have just been known as a, I wouldn't say as a Wilt Chamberlain, because Wilt put too much into the game, into the game of basketball, to be like a LeBron James. LeBron James took a lot of things for granted. Okay, so I won't try to get too deep. I'm gonna start talking about LeBron James like real deep. But I'm just saying, LeBron James would have been known as a, I don't know. It's hard to compare him to Wilt Chamberlain, so I'm not going to. Let's just say I have Wilt Chamberlain second because he was just that dominant. He was more dominant as a player than Michael Jordan. But the postseason, he wasn't. He just wasn't. And postseason equals championships. Postseason equals, points per game, things like that. He wasn't as dominant as Michael Jordan. But as a player in the regular season, he was the most dominant player of all time. He just was. So that's why, where would you rank him? You guys are looking at stuff the wrong way. Okay, let's see if you look at it this way, right? If they had Defensive Player of the Year, they have defensive team, and they have block titles, what would you have? So you would have the 7 scoring titles. You would have the, what was it? How many? 11 rebound titles. The assist title. And you might have about, I would guess about 4 to 5 block titles at least. And then, at least 4 to 5 defensive players of the year. What? Just saying, man. I can't take Wilt Chamberlain out my number 2. I just can't. Even with his disappointing, career as far as playoffs in, NBA Finals, it was just his career was just too dominant as a player. I just couldn't do that. I just couldn't do it. And he's not going to sit there and be making, if you guys say, oh yeah, he was out the all NBA team this year, that year, especially in his prime, I could be like, okay, it was other centers really better than him. And when we talk about Shaq, this guy in that 7-year span, it had nothing to do with winning championships. If I'm not mistaken, I think he won his first championship in 7 years. It took like Michael Jordan 7 years. The fact was, he was playing in an era where it was center dominant. It was dominated by centers. So he had no excuse. If he was the greatest dominant center of all time, he had no excuse. I'm not trying to say in the first year or the second year, he had to be all NBA, first team. But he just didn't do it, folks. He had all NBA first team one damn time in the 90s. One time. One damn time. Alonzo Mourning even beat him out for all NBA first team in the 90s, one season. He was on the third team, if I'm mistaken, 3 times in the 90s. And the rest was second teams. So I'm not buying it, man. He's not the most dominant player of all time. And then him get swept by the Utah Jazz 2 years in a row. Y'all talking about, oh, Michael Jordan played some plumbers. This dude got swept. 2 years in a row. That team didn't take Michael Jordan to no damn game 7. Michael Jordan beat them in 6 games. Well, he got swept 1 year, and then he got beat 4-1 another year. So I don't want to hear nothing about no dominant. No. Now, I think he been swept the most times in as any, top 75 player or top 10 player, something like that. No, folks. No. You guys are looking at his dominance in the 2000s. And let me try to say, if he didn't, let's just say if maybe he had LeBron James instead of Kobe Bryant, his ass would have still been getting swept. Or he would not even won one championship or a three-peat. Definitely not. If it was LeBron James that had to hit them shots from the perimeter like Kobe did, it would be over. And the fact is, it ain't going to happen for LeBron James because you got to have certain things in the 90s, you know, and back then, even in those early 2000s before LeBron James came, you had to have some kind of game, right? You got to be able to face up and shoot if you was a perimeter player. If not, you had to be able to, you know, back to the basket. You wasn't just going to, you know, waltz into the paint and just be like, yeah, I'm LeBron James. They be done swatted your shit into the 8th row. They don't care. They don't care who you are. Back then, it was real defense. Okay? So I'm gonna just leave that alone. Y'all Shaq fans can get mad if you want. I didn't say he's the most overrated player of all time. I didn't say he was overrated. I said dominant. The most overrated, dominant player of all time. Because he was never dominant. He wasn't even dominant amongst the great centers he was playing against, defensively or offensively. That's why he couldn't make no first team except for one damn time. And I don't fault him. That's Hakeem. That's you know, Ewing. That's not Barkley. David Robinson. These type of guys. So I'm not faulting him, and I'm not trying to say not bad about him. He's the one that came out and said he's the most dominant player of all time. No, he's not. The all NBA teams will tell the tale every time. To me, that's why it's questionable. You know, if you want to put Isaiah Thomas as the second greatest point guard of all time, based on his all NBA teams, I don't know about that, folks. I just don't think he is. So Michael Jordan said he was. I don't know if he is. He might be, but I just don't know. I don't know if he is. He might be. I don't know. But according to the all NBAs, I don't think it don't look like it. But whatever, he did play against Magic. But anyways, let's get back to this Zest Fest right here with LeBron James. And you know, I can't really hold these zesty dudes accountable for what's going on, because we got to blame the heterosexual people who no longer know what heterosexual people walk like, talk like, act like, swag like, and carry themselves like. That ain't what heterosexual people do. Heterosexual people do certain things. Heterosexual people don't or wouldn't approve gay marriage. And nothing, if you're that's fine. I don't have nothing against it. I'm not playing God. They're playing God. The courts are playing God, not me. The police is playing God. They put the rules out. I never said they couldn't. But these so-called, you know, people who made marriage legal, and they're supposed to be these hardcore Christians who are old. Remember, the Supreme Court at the time, these people are like in their 60s, 70s, 80s. I don't know anybody that age who are hardcore Christians that would approve something like that. I just don't. Again, do I want it approved or not? I don't care. Do what you want to do. Those are the people on the earth playing God, not me. But I'm just trying to tell you how those people are that I know growing up. My grandparents, my great grandparents, all these Christians, old Christians on the block around town. No, they wouldn't approve that. So you gotta start asking yourself, who are these people that really pass these laws to approve that? Okay. See, you gotta remember, if I want to rule over you, I don't want you to do the same thing I'm doing. So what am I going to do? I'm going to act like, you know, that's wrong, so I can do it. I'm going to just leave it like that. Or should I say it like this? If we're the minority of the world, and we want to control, and we want you to not know who we are, we're going to act like we're not those people. And we're going to say, don't do that stuff. The same stuff we're doing. And now, years and years and years later, now the same stuff that we outlawed and said we wasn't doing, now we're approving it. Huh? I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Maybe it didn't make any sense, and maybe it should just be like a riddle to you, right? It should just be like a riddle. And again, I've told you guys before. Heterosexual people don't kick it with homosexual people. For example, I've encountered a lot of homosexual people in my life, especially when you live in big cities. And they're cool with me. Whether they was a man or a woman, they don't bother me. A lot of people have these people who are family and they still love them. They're cool. Some of them disown their family. I would never do that to my family. I guess if I was young, and you know what I'm saying, when you're young, but you reach a certain point, you won't really do nothing. Like, especially if you grow up with that family member all your life, you're not gonna disown them. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the way it is. But I'm not gonna, just because I know some gay people and it don't bother me, I just don't have anything. I just don't have nothing in my mind that would call up a person that was gay and be like, let's hang out. Or they call me and be like, they won't call me anyways because I'm not. I wouldn't get that impression that I wanted you to. You won't even have my number. And again, I'm going to tell you what it's like, because a lot of people are going to misinterpret what I'm talking about. Okay? Certain people just don't hang out. It's a cultural thing. It might not be nothing out of hate or, you know, racism or nothing like that. So, for example, I don't see Mexicans and people from India hanging out. They could, but I just don't see that. I don't see Puerto Ricans and Italianos hanging out. They could, you just don't see it. I don't see Chinese and Dominicans out at the club hanging out together. I just don't see it. I don't see somebody from Africa hanging out with somebody from Afghanistan. I just don't. I mean, like, so before you guys talk about it's hate and all, it's just, come on, man. We don't have nothing in common. So I want you to understand that. I want to hang out with somebody homosexual, not because they're homosexual. I just want to hang out with them because I know a lot of gay people are funny, are cool. But we don't have nothing in common. That's like me hanging around with a girl that's 25 years younger than me. I ain't talking about underage. I'm just talking about, you know, if overage, but we're 25 years apart. We probably don't have nothing in common. So that's what I'm trying to say. So I said that to say this. If you think that these dudes is zesty as can be in the NBA, and that's just how the locker room is, I don't know what to say to you guys. You're trying to tell me it's just a couple of road zesty. I ain't talking to y'all. The zesty stuff need to stop. As far as y'all think somebody just picking on somebody, calling them zesty. When I say zesty, I mean gay. They like other men. Men like other men. Gay. Right? So if you, let's just say the word. So if you just think it's a couple gay men on the team who are gay, and all the heterosexual men are okay with it, what are you talking about? What are you thinking about? It don't work like that. Heterosexual men ain't gonna be cool with that. They're not. Heterosexual men are not going to be cool with that. So therefore, and I'm just saying, so therefore you really have to take the temperature of what's really going on, folks. And how many zesty people are really on these teams, on these NBA teams, and have been on these NBA teams. Because, you know, I think it's just unfair to, you know, look at a couple of guys, you know, and say, oh, this guy's a Zest Fest. This, to me, John Sally, he's a big Zest Fest, right? We know Dennis Rodman is a Zest Fest. To me, I think Isaiah Thomas is a Zest Fest. He comes off to me as real feminine. A lot of dudes, man. But in the LeBron James era, it's just been so wide open. Maybe back in the day, maybe you just like scratch your head and think, maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe he's just nice. Really nice guy. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. And then you get into the LeBron James era and the proof starts to be in the pudding. They really, they put it right in your face. They don't hide it. They don't want you to question what you're seeing. They want you to see all the proof that they're gay. And what will confuse you the most is that their arranged fixed marriages will throw you off. Ain't that something? The arranged fixed marriages will throw you off every time. Hold on, wait. But this dude got a wife. This dude got children. That's how they do you, folks. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. And if you notice, most of them either have white women or Spanish women. Not the Spanish black women, but the Spanish, white women. The Spanish, I don't know how to say it. The ones with the white skins. Not the black Spanish women. I'm just saying, the majority of them, they don't want a black wife. Because most black wives won't put up with it. They won't play along in the Zest Fest nature. Man, LeBron James got a black woman. I guess I kind of question what is she really? I'm not trying to say she ain't black, but she's pretty exotic. I don't really know what she is. She could pass for mixed with something. I don't think she's full black. I just don't. Nevertheless, she, we'll just say she is black and she's been playing the game for a long time, folks. And, whatever you want to think, these guys in the LeBron James era have been showing us every sign. They've been showing every sign that they're gay. I don't know what else heterosexual people want. See, back in the day, it was you didn't say nothing like that, right? Because how you was hanging around your buddies or something like that, or you talking cash-ish to your brother or something like that, and you call him the gay word, right? Oh, you say, oh man, you gay, man, you gay. So you was just playing around because that would hurt somebody's feelings as heterosexual. So for a long time, if you said that somebody was gay, well, the celebrities, they would call you a hater. They would call you all kind of names, right? Because you said these things. They call you a hater and all this stuff. Oh man, you a hater. But like what are the signs? I'm not just gonna call somebody that just to be calling them. I'm calling somebody that because they're showing me the signs. They don't show me all the signs. So a lot of times, when I said stuff like this back in the day, people thought I was just playing with these celebrities. When Baby and Wayne was kissing and stuff like that on 106 in Park, and then they would show up to concerts kissing each other on stage, and when they questioned Baby and they said, hey man, when they questioned Birdman, they said, but why would you kiss Little Wayne like that in the mouth? And he said, Wayne like a son to me, Wayne like a son. I'm like, what? But why would you kiss your son in the mouth? Even if he's your son, why are you tongue kissing your son in the mouth? But Wayne is not your son, right? And you guys are supposed to be busting guns, selling dope, front of hood, and you tongue kissing on 106 in Park in front of the kids, and you tongue kissing on stage, different concerts. Y'all never heard that song? Kissing on my daddy, kissing on my daddy, kissing on my daddy. Y'all be kissing on my daddy. Or hold on, wait, it's just stunting like my daddy. Goodness. Well, I don't know what else to say, man. They promoted these little purse pouches and all this stuff for a long time. Now they done came out with the full extended purse. And you show up some some places, maybe to the mall, maybe to the shopping center, and the man is carrying a purse just like his wife. And they both carrying around purses. Wow. Both carrying around purses. So, I don't know, man. LeBron James, he's been giving out fruity, zesty energy for a long time, man. And these are the things you got to do, man. When you take the fortune and fame, they own you. They tell you what to do. They tell you how to dress. They tell you how to walk. They tell you how to talk. Everything, folks. So this is LeBron James' career. This is LeBron James' career. And as Hollywood, comes to an end, none of this is not surprising. You got the Diddy allegations, and the funny part is that Diddy trial went really quick, and a lot of stuff was like, phased up out of that trial that we heard. Remember all the stuff that we heard? All the stuff that we heard. 99% of it never made it into the trial. All these celebrities that was at these parties, they had all these names and people on video. Remember all that? They even had LeBron James on the video. Where's all that at? That just vanished and disappeared, folks. You should know they weren't going to throw their puppets in jail. You should have known it. You should have known it. Puppet Puffy, he done did way too much for them to put him away like that. I don't know, folks. Like I said, I sometimes I don't know what heterosexual people want. I mean, like, I don't know what they want. We done seen this with rappers. They go from being tough, next thing you know, they're singing and wearing women's clothes, and we done seen this stuff with Outkast and a lot of these people. CeeLo, we thought he was one of the tough guys. Next thing you know, he's singing, acting feminine. It ain't nothing wrong with singing. I'm not trying to say that, but just the way these dudes come out initially, like they the hardest thing from the streets. Next thing you know, they flaming out all over the place. So that's what I'm really talking about. The way they flame out like that. It's just like, what? And then, we got the new crop of guys coming, they flaming out, SGA flaming out, Darius Garland, I done seen him flaming out before. Donovan Mitchell, big undercover. A lot of these guys, man. A lot of these guys. That's why I said don't think it's just a couple of rogue dudes acting like this, because it's just heterosexual people don't hang out around with people who ain't heterosexual. Bi or gay. I'm just saying it just don't happen like that. Maybe women hang around a lot of gay people. Like I said, it's not because of hate or, something's wrong with them. It's just we don't have nothing in common. For me, for some of y'all, it might be for a different reason. Maybe it might be, the H word. I'm not going to say it, but it might be for you. But it's not for me because of that. But like I said, to me, I had to question that. See, when you live in denial of, I don't think of the word. I can't think of the word. But when you're sitting there living in denial of your instincts, what you see and what you feel, you're living in hell. You living in straight hell. And that's what most people live in every single day in this world. All signs point to what you feel, what you see, what your instincts are. That's what it is, folks. They can tell you whatever they want to tell you on TV. That's what it is. What you should be knowing. Don't deny the obvious. When you start denying the obvious, you start living in hell. Because they want you to deny the obvious. They want you, oh man, you can't say that. That's wrong. That's sexist. That's racist. That's all kind of stuff. That's what they want you to think. And that's how all this world. That's why the world is like it is. That's how the people who run it. That's how they run it. Off of keeping people stupid. That's it. You know what's real. You feel what's real. You can see what's real. Don't be in denial because somebody's on TV and they wearing a suit and they, they done made it up to this high point and stuff. No. You got to go by what you see, man. If you're a man, men don't act like that. That's why they're trying to take the man energy away from the man. That's why they don't want no American men doing man jobs. They don't want you getting dirty. They don't want you sweating. They don't want you, working your muscles. They want other people to come in from other countries and do it. Why? Not because they're better workers, because they ain't gonna pay them shit. This is an epidemic in every country now. Hell, this is an epidemic in Mexico. That's what's so crazy. The Mexicans are having this happen in their country where they got all these people coming over from poor countries to take the jobs that they do have left. That's crazy. In Europe, it's the Africans taking all the jobs. In Canada, I think it's the Middle Eastern or something like that, taking all the blue collar jobs. They don't want the men of that country making any money. They don't want the men of those countries even working like men no more. They want you, at best, they want you working inside the office, eating food full of soy so you can grow titties. You ever seen those man boobs? That's from soy. They put soy in all the food. That's why men and women, fight so much, because the men act so feminine. Yeah. So, just trying to tell you, man, you can think what you want to think, but this Zest Fest has been going on. It kind of reminds me of Drake, right? As far as LeBron James, basically, in his era, opened up this whole Zest Fest in the NBA. When we talk about Drake, right? Drake was the first open gay rapper. Not to ever come out and say he was openly gay, nothing like that. But if you're a heterosexual man, you already know when he showed up. And he started singing, talking about finding people's hearts and all this stuff, rapping. Remember, all that was disapproved. Who was that? Ja Rule's career got taken down for rapping. No. And he wasn't even singing like whole songs or singing. He was just like, more like harmonizing. Drake said, watch this. I'm going to sing hooks and then I'm going to sing entire songs. And go watch some of Drake's interviews too. I mean, he tell you he is Zest Fest in all those interviews when he was young. And I just say that reminds me of Drake. You know what I'm saying? He was the first open gay rapper. So somebody got to be the forerunner for it. And LeBron James in his era was the forerunners for SGA and these guys in the 2020s. Do you get any man energy coming off of Jason Tatum? What about Jaylen Brown? Any man energy? What about when these guys start wearing low-top shoes to play basketball? That was unheard of back in the day. It was men bumping and grinding and pushing and doing all this stuff. It was rough and rugged on the basketball court. You couldn't wear no damn low-top shoes. What? They wouldn't even let you on a basketball team wearing low-top shoes. You always had to wear shoes to your ankles at least. And it's just a coincidence that LeBron James and Drake done hang out a million times. And we already know about the hip hop industry from the 2010s and the 2020s. Woo! That ain't been nothing but a Zest Fest. Nothing but a Zest Fest. So to me, I've said this a long time ago, the 2020s is just an open gate league to me. Because they done showed every sign. It started, I'm not gonna put it all on their shoulders, but the 2020, the 2010s, they was the forerunners for it. So let me get off here.